Hello, hello, hello. What's up, y'all? It's Michelle. It's actually been 90 days since I have been on. Jordan's saying hello, popping on. All right, get out of here. She just wants my phone. Welcome into Angel Insight. Today I have the most beautiful oracle. It's been a while since I've been on. This is something you can catch on the flip, come back to. But we are actually sinking into some really beautiful story here. I tried to kind of set it up a little bit for you. But let's just start right here. We've been in transit. So we've been moving from one challenge into the next, okay? And we've been aligning our energies, right? I have been receiving messages for this oracle, for this particular oracle, since February. Yeah. It's just really gorgeous and beautiful. And so because of that, it's like fine wine. It's going to take a little time to really make sure we capture the right notes. Okay, that seems really important. Capture the right notes and allow it to settle in and get its flavor. So feel free to come back. 1, 2, 3, follow your intuition, follow your steps, whatever it takes. But yeah, you know what? This is what came in earlier. Do me a favor. Stand up. Okay, I would stand up, but I actually fell 5 weeks ago. I've been on crutches, and I'm doing okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to stand up, and I want you to put your hands on your heart and close your eyes, and I just want you to test your body pendulum. So I just want you to relax and ask your body, what is a yes? And then ask your body, what is a no? And then ask your body, what is a maybe? And then take a deep breath. And then go within and just relax. And ask, is this oracle for me? And what does your body pendulum say? Okay? So whenever you come into you should be asking that at all times, no matter what you're doing. So if you're new here, my name's Michelle. I'm a teacher and a student and everything in between. And today what we're talking about, I've been really blessed over the last several years to channel collective messages about these challenges, and these challenges have to do with mastery. Okay. And we've been kind of doing the countdown. So there's, let's just kind of take a step back for a second. Oh my gosh, those were my crutches. Okay. Wow. But basically, we have this collective challenge that comes in, and it's up to you or not if you want to take the challenge, but we're all here. We're all for the taking. And these challenges are what I've learned through what information I receive have to do with mastery. Okay. Have to do with mastery. And we're not going to go backwards. We're just going to start where we are. I want to keep this as simple as possible. Okay. And I want you to drop comments, and we can, help me go into deeper. If you want me to go into something more, we can add that. So just leave a comment if you want expansion on anything, because that feels really good. But basically, we're going into this challenge. Last year was challenge 55, the year before 44. Where do you think we're going, guys? We're going into the 66. Okay, so let's just go ahead and just dun, dun, dun. Let's set the framework. Ready? Let's just start with 6 messages about what is this 66 challenge. Okay, what is this all about? What is this? And basically, it's all about how to integrate grace and how to integrate gratitude to create evolutionary changes to be one with your true abundance. Okay, yeah, let's bottle that. And let's get these 6 messages. For you to succeed, you must bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. We're using the story of the Wizard of Oz, where there's no place like home, okay? And we're going to jump into this a little bit more, but that's the story that's coming in. And we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the book. I actually I'm reading The Wizard of Oz. And boy, is it so different than you would ever think. And everything is just so magical as it's been coming in these bits and pieces. And now to see it like come together, it's just like mind blowing to me. So I love that. Thank you, Spirit. It makes me feel like I know what it just helps. It really does. Okay, so the second message is a show and tell. Now, for those of you that are new to me, this is a combination of knowings, thoughts, feelings, channels. So it can kind of be all over the place, okay? So just going to take you through. I write them down. I was shown to release my blocks. And then I heard, it's my purest intention to receive my blocks, and I wrote down, speak it. Third message about this 66 challenge. Mon ami. Now, I had to Google that, and I did a whole, and that led into the chicken, okay, the Oracle of the Chicken, which is the very last Oracle I did 3 months ago. So if you were with me for that, you know, that's what created that. And what mon ami means is it means female friend. So my friends, right? And this is for all of us. It's not just for one of us, and it's for all, and I want to add on, and for facets of us. Okay. So I was getting, for the fourth message, continuation of this show and tell, was the French Revolution. I've been sharing how that's been coming in. This came in a long time ago, you guys, but it was setting up the stage of where we were. Like this is, January 29th, you guys. Okay. This is where I'm starting at the beginning. This is how long I've been receiving this. At that particular time, it was talking about releasing the blocks, and how to do that is to have the frequency match the sound. And the frequency of the sacral chakra is what was coming in, and we were guided at that time at a 303 frequency. But we've been in transit, and the frequency has been increased. Okay, there's been this huge sacral collective activation, and we're now at a different frequency. As happens for ones, happens for all. And we're at this 333 frequency, and we're talking about this alignment. And for some of you, this is the alignment of your mission. You've been waiting. Okay. I'm hearing coming ground control. This is Major Tom. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, anyway. Number 5, in order to release that which binds, the frequency you must find. Okay? So we're talking about how do we meet this frequency? How do we lift up to balance, to come into this balance? And that's what the sixth message talks about, is that we've been in transit and now we're aligned with a new collective challenge, the integration of grace and gratitude. But the question is how? How can we work on this mastery? And that's what this oracle has come in for. So we're going to be working with the collective here first. And this is setting up the challenge for the whole year, but this is guiding us over the next 40 days. And it feels like as I'm wearing this t-shirt in the desert, and as Oz, I'm being reminded that Oz is surrounded by the desert on all sides. And the only way is to fly in, is to make the decision, is to have a way in. And Dorothy goes by cyclone. And a cyclone is formated on internal pressures. Okay. So some internal pressures can take us into this new arena, can awaken us from what feels like might be a dream. Okay, but we're here to tell you it's not. It's not a dream. And, I bet you've never read The Wizard of Oz, the real story. And I bet if you did, I think that all this would land. I know it helps me as the oracle here today share, because story is everything that is created, is truth, is oracle. And so I love how we're weaving this all together. And speaking of weaving, yesterday, Yesterday is when this portal closed with this wisdom of the mouse energy. So this mouse has been with us. And ever since this mouse energy, what brought you in here today, this is a little different. Usually I do animal wisdom beforehand, but this is actually completely the mouse is like sharing the details. Okay. Its portal has now closed. And when that closed is when I found this oracle, and it's just like this shift coming in by spirit, and we're using it today in a major way. And so I love that. So for any of you anime, this is a new oracle. 50 cents I found it for, so I think that's pretty cool. So we're going to be using that today, and we're going to just go ahead and get into the collective. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me keep checking my timestamps. Look at that, 10:33. Okay, 10:33. We're really moving into the collective. And we're going to ask a couple questions here for all of us. You know, we're talking about this challenge. So, first of all, we were saying that this is related to grace and this is related to gratitude and evolutionary changes that bring our abundance into balance. So, the crystals are going to come forward. The big question we're asking here is, what are we balancing? Now, when I got ready for this oracle, which is never a simple thing, but I enjoy the steps, you know, altogether I've made 84 shuffles. And it was just like I was getting this in the shower to shuffle all the decks 6 times before we got started. And I had this, like, in my third eye, I had this envision of 84 lumber. So, what are we building? What are we balancing? What are we building? How do we create grace? And how do we create balance? These are the questions that are going to come in for this challenge. So let's just go ahead and deal with those head on. We're starting in the first part of this oracle, and the part of the story that we're in the Wizard of Oz. This is just kind of helping us with the path. This is a 3-part series, and it's the original channel is Slave, Pave, Grave, your choice. And so what we're doing is we're taking a journey through Oz with these words. And I didn't know we'd be doing that, but we are. So, slave. Did you know in the original book, Wizard of Oz, that yes, Dorothy's house did go by cyclone into Oz, and it landed on the Wicked Witch of the East. Okay, so that is something in common on all stories that is so true. You may or may not know that the Wicked Witch of the East actually was, what she did is she enslaved all the Munchkins day and night. And the big thing that's coming in here, where we're starting into the slave, okay, is like it's a new day, it's a new dawn. And we've got to break out of, you know what's coming in? It's these studies they did with these dogs. Okay, this is what's coming in. And they were locked up in these cages for so long that when they opened the cage, they didn't come out. Come out, come out. Okay, come out and play. That's funny because the movie is kind of coming in. But why wouldn't it? Because it itself is an inspiration, a creation based on the original. So it's going to bounce in and out. But we are pretty much going by the original. And you will be surprised to hear that the original did, in fact, have mice. So as we go into Munchkin Land and as we experience what happens once we, basically land on the Wicked Witch of the East, something that has enslaved us day and night, we have a change in frequency. And I believe that change in frequency is what we need to expand, right? And to be able to receive. And Dorothy actually means God's gift. And so it's this time of this freedom, but there's a journey involved. And the discovery is even more than you could really ever expect. And that's what we're going here for, friends. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with this collective. What are we balancing? What are we bringing into balance? Now, I can tell you very much that we're bringing into balance, and what we're doing is we're going to be thinking about the end in mind. And so as I'm making my way through this book, the end in mind, we're dealing with the Tin Man today. Okay, the Tin Man in the story, who knew? But this is true. That in the field of poppies, right? Think of the movie, In the Field of Poppies. I'm pretty sure all of you have seen The Wizard of Oz. And Dorothy and Toto and the lion and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow are running through the poppies, and they all fall asleep. But in the book, the Tin Man and Scarecrow, they are not they do not have a body, so it doesn't affect them. But as they're getting out and they lift Dorothy out to safety, their Tin Man notices this huge animal that's attacking another animal. And he's so empathic. I mean, you really get in touch with this character in the book. His story is very simple. And anywho, this is setting up where we need to go. So we're just going to do the steps here, right? So what he does is he instinctively takes his axe and he saves what was being chased. And what was being chased in the book, my friends, from this beast was the queen of the mice. And so the queen of the mice comes in and basically blesses the Tin Man. And here we have this element of the mouse coming in, which is so spectacular because it's been coming in for so long. The portal is just closing. And from the very beginning, it was details, details, details. And so we're kind of like having reports. So like the mouse is kind of like reporting forward for each of you as we align and are in alignment to this next challenge. So it's all about learning what this challenge is about. So what are we balancing? Okay, we're going to start with, what are we balancing? We're integrating this balance. And I love this because this blue apatite, I'm really familiar with this card, and it has this motion, and I'm seeing it in my mind's eye now, where it opens and closes. And it's like when you're looking at this, you think, it's like you look at those hearts in the center, and it's like, is this the bottom or is this the bottom? Okay. And it's all about perspective. And that is such a beautiful segue into what's coming up for this collective. Here's that flag of Oz. Here we go. We're starting in Munchkin Land. Okay. We're making our way over. But, today what's so interesting is this heart-shaped box came in, and basically the Tin Man, if I only had a heart. And then I wrote, let it fall through. So here we've got the same idea. I love this. Okay, that's the healing, is that we want to see that heart fall through and become the center. This is that change in frequency. Okay, when we harmonize the heart, it becomes, in essence, the new root. Okay, it becomes, in essence, the new root. So that's where we're starting. Let's go ahead and look here. We're going to take 3 shuffles, just get an idea about this hematite, right? What's the magic? The magic is the metals, the Tin Man coming in, the perspective, right? The perspective of the Tin Man. That's the magic that's coming in here. And hematite is formed by iron, right? Iron in the actual soil. And the pink Smiths of the night, right? What are we aligning to? That grace and that gratitude. And it's so funny because if you've been with me for as long as some of you have, this always reminds me of like guns coming out of the holster, right? Our Smith and Wessons. And it's like, this is what we're aligning to, the structure of the magic of what we saw, which is right here again. I love it. And that's really taking and flipping the script. And it seems like we're inverting, but we're not. We're not inverting. We're simply starting from a new ground zero, okay, which I think is magical. And this is going to put many of you, most of you that find this on your mission, okay? So that's why you've been led here. Yeah, it's going to allow you to have that soul song, right? And it's going to allow you to be at one with this magic, okay, with this authenticity. Okay, and this beauty of home, as I see this beautiful turtle here, this collective, right? So this is the energy the crystals are bringing in. Let's go ahead and see, but what are we balancing? We're going to do 8 cards here. And as I'm talking about this, we're balancing our imagination. We're balancing, because we're going to start with the end in mind. And so if we can create without fear, if we can create without doubt, if we can create without anxiety or stress, if we can make that the foundation, right? Then we can do much. If we can create the dioptase, which is literally for the heart, and be one with that abundance, okay? We're totally in the right place. We're totally in the right place. And so what we're talking about here through this challenge is really creating that harmony in the heart. Because without that, we can't fall through and really evolve into what's next. Okay, this is just it's part of the process, right? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look-see here. Let's give that a cut. And where do we cut back to? Back to the beginning. Okay, so I love this. I love all of this energy that's coming through, talking about the blues, first of all, for this authenticity. And this is the healing at hand, that this is authentic for you. Okay, so the first card is talking about, okay, as I'm getting a message already, I'm getting this visual of the sap, right? Here's this amber, and it feels like the tree, the sap of the tree. How can we create this authenticity? Is just by collaborating with the shifts, removing, in many ways, this is really kind of reminding me of a pearl. So what happens is the pearl is created because of the irritant, okay? Because of the irritant. So this is really all about this energy of this amber, okay? And the rarest form of amber, it's like coming in like lightning bolts. The rarest form of amber is blue amber, okay? This blue amber. And when we can essentially fossilize that, I want you to think of like the cane on Jurassic Park. When we can capture that irritant and see its reflection, then we can actually, create new pathways. And there's so much I'm seeing here on this card. I'm seeing this Egyptian, okay? Egyptian, and that's basically the root chakra on this channel, okay? So that root, and we're not going to make it too much. These are all just connections in the way that spirit talks to me. So what we're doing is we're collaborating with the shift. We're shifting that root, okay? And we're making the heart the new root, because every chakra, if you will, has a frequency. And so this is a game change. This is mastery, so that we can start that vibration, not the vibration, the frequency at a different level, so that we can bring in a different experience at all times on a new playing field, Now, what's interesting about the Tin Man, okay, this is a collective message. We're really kind of settling into like, what is this all about? And the Tin Man becomes the Tin Man because he was man, and he was in love with a woman, and he was cursed. His axe was cursed, and his axe would fall and take off his arm, and he went to a Tin Man and had it replaced. And then it would happen again in his other arm, and then his legs, and then his head. This is how he became the Tin Man. Okay? So there was this metamorphosis, right? If you will. And so how can we take those irritants? How can we take those things, those bad things, those slips, those falls, those things that happen? How can we bring them into balance? How can we allow an expansion, right? How can we allow an expansion? And how can we also know that with that expansion, what's really interesting is what I'm seeing with these arrows is there's so much potential coming out. And it just creates this an envelope, okay, like this opening, okay, like a, and then the structure is anew, okay? And so we need to realize that this is an ending of, the lower the lower vibrations, the things that make us, see red is what I'm getting here. The things that cause the anger. It's like we're waking up. We're smelling the coffee. We're waking up to something else. We're crystallizing that. And the amethyst allows us to build. Okay. It actually pairs with rose and it allows us to unfold and align with our highest potential. That is what amethyst is. It allows us to align with our highest potential by removing the toxicities, okay? By removing the toxicities that we're enduring on now, okay? And all has purpose. But how can we capture those irritants and shift them into something new? Okay? How can we see that all does have purpose? And how can we also have the courage, right? And the faith to know that this is in itself an experience and won't last forever because in some ways this is an evolutionary ending. These mastery skills are huge. All right. We've got this petrified wood here, okay, which is just a beautiful crystal because it too is like irritants into the wood, and then it literally crystallizes and forms into this beautiful crystal. It pairs with chrysanthemum. I'm getting nines, the power of 9 here, okay, which is super interesting. The power of 9, the power of 369, the power of, really, sorry, I have an itch. Really aligning to the thought process of balance and what that means, okay? Even in times of adversity, I'm hearing. It's this renewal. It's this idea that no matter what, just like this wood, no matter how it's fallen and no matter where it's fallen, it will find its way into its new form. The structure of renewal here is coming in, okay? And the chrysanthemum really, you can look it up if you feel guided. It's really important, especially in Chinese. And with this wood, and the tin man is the wood man. So it's a tin woodsman. And so here we are in this process of this snake, the wood, this process of transformation. So it's just like all aligning here. Okay. And, we could go on and on about how the feminine has been how it's fallen. We talk about the dark night of the soul. I've said it many times. We're not meant to have that experience. But at the same point in time, all has purpose. All has purpose. But it's like we're finding our way back. And how we do that is by we fall through. Okay? We fall through. And we let this number 50, I love this because this is really kind of, we're really going to let this guide us, this oracle, when we do this. And this is the first time I've cracked it open, okay? So we're going to allow that. And this anime, this creation, how can we create our own experience? And how can we, rely on this shift that spirit is bringing in? Oh, look at the Isis. I thought it was fairy, but it's Isis quartz, okay? And change that root chakra. Change that root chakra. Okay, I love this. And it's by stepping into our power. It's by stepping into our power and not being afraid and letting what's fallen fall and transform and allowing yourself to hone into your power. I mean, this is what these challenges have been about, to really hone into your power and to step into, for some of you, your missions. Okay, your missions. This is the shift that you've been waiting for. And that's why you've been brought here. Okay, this is collective. This is happening for all of us. And what is this shift really about? It's about this unconditional love for the warrior, right? And it's like many of you have been warriors for so long, but as we talk about Dorothy, this is God's gift to change the world around you, to really collaborate with your imagination, to crystallize the waters, to nourish your soul on a whole new level. Okay, and knowing that no matter what, that was the gift. That was the gift in the end. Okay, which is so beautiful to bring you into your magic, to bring you into your magic. And it's all about that divine timing. Okay, we have this azurite, but look at those tulips. They're talking to me. I love that they're blue. We have these blue. It's like this challenge is allowing you to step into, my friends, the Tin Woodsman. It's like you can get stuck every amount along the way when the arms are coming off and we can grieve the losses. But what we're really getting here is how can we step into the magic? How can we bring into the balance and see that the irritants, the things that have fallen off, as crazy and as, for some of you, it was just one after another. I mean, it's just so hard to keep up with, really. It has super duper been a challenge. But at the same point in time, there's this beautiful tulip here and it's divine timing. And why is it divinely timed? Because, you can't drive 55. So this is going back to challenge 55, this overdrive. And it's almost like, and I'm getting these two, okay, like these two are coming in tandem together here, which I really love because we're talking about this unconditional love for who we are uniquely, how we receive. We live in this world where it's like we've been so programmed that everything is ABC, dun, 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 1, 2, 3, right? And I'm not denouncing and jumping on like program, blah, 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 okay? Because again, all has purpose. But it's like at the same point in time, if we think everything has to be linear, if we think everything is like staggered, okay, if you see how I'm doing this, it's like there's this hierarchy, and I already know, and I've learned. Shout out to one of my coaches, Stacy. When we create hierarchy, we create judgment, and we're putting an end to this judgment. And this is all about really divine timing for each and all of us, and for some of us, the best time to really sprout and spread our wings, speaking of the tulip coming through, that energy of the tulip is really through freezing the emotions, okay? Because temperatures of 55 are ideal. And it's just like for some of you, you've been in the heat, right? So how can we bring in the wind, right? That cyclone. How can we bring in the wind and cool down and make a move into something new? So what are we balancing here is just how to be one with our abundance, okay? And it's not easy because when we think with the end in mind, the Tin Man actually becomes the king. So in the book, and maybe even in the movie if it continues, but in the book for sure, after the wicked witch is killed, she is killed with a bucket of water on accident. Okay, it's an accident. They don't even meet the witch until they're out of Munchkin Land. So that's what I love. So in the book, we're in Munchkin Land. We're not even talking about the wicked witch of the West, okay, because she has not appeared. But further in the book, okay, you become aware that after the wicked witch is gone, the Winkies are freed, and the Winkies are expert tinsmen. And they make the Tin Man their king. So we're talking about this siren energy, this shift in the waters, the siren, right? The wee-oo, 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 the things that grab our attention, create the anxiety, the stress, make us pop out of the present and go into the past or into the future, okay? And we're having unconditional love for ourselves, and we're really kind of finding that way in this challenge to stay in that present. Okay, that is part of all of this, and it is not easy. It is not easy. And so the crystals are coming in to assist you to make the moves, to trust your intuition, to use the crystals, to allow the plants to come in, the plants and the crystals to actually help you in this healing, this unfolding, okay? This unfolding, this falling through. And that's what we're going to get into today, this falling through. How can we collaborate and find that balance, okay? And be who we are, not the siren, okay? And you can think of the mermaid singing to lead astray, right? We're not talking this energy, and but to be honest, this energy has been leading us astray. But it's time to create our kingdom with the end in mind, knowing that we can rule as a king, okay? Is kind of what's really coming through, to really rule for what's best for all and how to do that. And the Tin Man is such a great, honestly, an incredible ally to have. Okay, it's a beautiful how that story is coming through. So I encourage you to read the Wizard of Oz yourself, because what we're capturing here, what we're talking about today, the structure here is what's created, what we're putting in, if you will, is this heart into the Tin Man. Okay? His heart is going through, it's falling into him, right? And that's creating this harmony, all right? And this harmony is life changing. Okay, this balance is created with this harmony. So, what are we building? We've got the earth magic come in here. A big thing is to stay grounded, connect to the earth. Okay, literally, the earth is coming forward. We're going to be doing 2 shuffles, 4 cards. I heard 2 by 4. What are we building? We're at 84 lumber. We can get all the supplies we need. We just need to keep our wits about us, and that means we need to stay grounded and heart centered. Okay, so really get out there and connect in nature. Connect. If you can't get out, how can you connect visually in meditation? How can you do some of these sound baths? Okay, different ways to stay grounded. But really, the best way to stay grounded is your breath. Go within. I think it's scientifically proven, of course. I'm just an oracle that that I collect things, and I believe I heard that people that do 11 minutes of breathing, like focused breathing, just relax and breathing. I like to do 6 by 4 breathing, but just to take breaths for 10 minutes, 11 minutes, it can like really be life changing for you. Okay, and the forest, is a great example of that, because when you go into the forest, which thank you for the earth, for the beautiful forests. Oh, they're my favorite. I'm a huge fan of the forest. And what I love most, and then what I get so inspired by the most, is how the trees lean on each other and how it is this community in itself, right? And that's what we're talking about, immersing into that community. Forest bathing is a real thing. Just want to say it. So, what are we building? We're building this sacred breath, okay? This idea of the symbiotic environment. We're creating our kingdom, and it's symbiotic, and we're giving out just as much as we're receiving in, okay? And the 2 by 4s, we're creating this structure. So, what are we building? Let's take a look see. Vulnerability to run through that meadow. Okay, run through that meadow, because as we ran through the poppies, I'm just getting like the memory can trick us. Okay, so the Tin Man ran through, and he has memory that affects the harmony of his heart, of what happened the last time he ran through the field of flowers. And so there's this vulnerability to catch our breath and to run back through without what happened the first go around effect. And so this is where it's hard as we talk about I'm not going to go there. That's coming in for something else. Okay, so that we can have this rebirth, so we can start anew and have the fertility and the transformation and the growth that we have been waiting for. And it's like, it's like so frustrating, but look, it hasn't left. So keep your breath, and keep the forest, and keep the end in mind, right? Keep that in mind. What are we building with this structure? Okay. What are we building? We're building this ability to see, and that's what I was getting. This challenge is all about this clarity, right? It's like the fog, getting lift, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So let's go ahead and see with these next 4 cards, what are we building? What does the structure look like? We've been talking about it. The earth is saying, get in the ebb and the flow. Trust your instincts. Allow yourself to sway with the trees. Allow your breaths to go in and out with the tide. Allow yourself to meander. Allow the animals to lead you. Allow the flowers to lead you, the plants, things that you come into. Okay? How can we collaborate with the earth and allow the earth to assist you, is what I'm hearing. The ocean, the water. How can we be childlike and go from, go into adventure in innocence, and allow that clarity, allow that, to lead us, even if it's in a dream world, what seems like a dream world. How can we capture that and hold on to that so that it can lead us? Okay? So that it can lead us to what? To the synergy that we need with the green man, with Oz, the inner wizard. Okay, this is so beautiful. I love how it's coming through. Yeah. From the forest, of trees, to the oceans, to the innocence and the childhood wonder, to the tropics, into the beauty, into the noise, into like all the sounds, and the synergy of all the things coming together, okay, and enveloping you and creating that effortless, because so what are you building? Is you're building home. You're building your home. You're free to do this. Okay? And so how can we do that? We're being shown here to just catch our breath, to trust our instincts. If something is making you hyperventilate, go the other way. Go the other way. Trust your instincts. Okay? Collaborate with your structure. Okay? And know that we can pop, where it's like this pop and it's in and out. Like, I don't know. It's like, you see this energy molding. And it's like, you are the creator. You are the creator of this structure. And whatever we create on, okay? And it's just like, if it's not based on this ebb and the flow and the innocence and the synergy and the effortlessness, it will not manifest, because it is not, it's like low, that's not for you. Okay? And this is reminding me in the story about the Tin Man and how they're walking on the yellow brick road, and he's like, he steps on a beetle and he starts to cry. And as soon as he starts to cry, he gets this lump in his throat, right? And then he can't speak. He can't speak. And if he can't speak, then he feels like he's stuck, right? I'm not really sure why I'm mentioning that. But he is an expert woodsman, and what he does is he is really powerful in the story about cutting down the wood and really creating some, some beautiful things, including this huge like truck out of lumber that he creates to save the lion when he is in the poppies because the lion is too heavy for the Tin Man and the Scarecrow to carry. And so this is where the mice come in. The mice come in and they help move the mice. They help move the lion into this truck. And so do you see this synergy? It's all these different elements coming together, but being in this state of unconditional love, okay? And really having a higher vibration to begin with, not vibration, frequency. I want to get away from vibration. All right. So this is what we're building. Now the masters want to come in. These mastery challenges. How do we create grace? Because that's something that we're looking here. Like, how can we be graceful as we move through integrating things that are really freaking hard? Okay, so we're going to get some. How do we create grace? Where was our starting point? Oh, God, I don't want to hear it. Patience. God dang it. Okay, I know many of you resonate, and that's just another moment to take a deep breath. And it's like you're exactly where you're meant to be, right? And what we're meant to understand here for the collective here is we're assimilating, okay? And what does it mean to assimilate? Is we're getting adjusted to these new conditions and we're adapting and we're taking the steps from where we are to where we want to be. Remember that we're filling that gap in with the end in mind, with the kingship and the loss of the sire in. Okay, the sire only serves itself, and the king, he serves the greatest for all, and because of his experience. Okay, so anyway, warriors, this number 28 is always about the warrior. It's already shown itself here, okay? It's already shown itself, and it's just like this tail end, and really just, it's so ingrained. We've just been fighting so hard for so long that it's hard to like change your ways. It's hard for many to even believe in what I'm speaking here. Do that pendulum again. Are you meant to stay here? Are you meant to keep going? Yeah. Okay. Trust your instincts. All right. So we're starting with that patience to remember they have patience. So let's build on that. I'm just laughing because, we are not invincible. We must collaborate. And it's like with this tin, and here I see this gold, and it's just like it's so heavy and weighing down. Okay. And how can we make ourselves lighter? And so that's a big worry, actually, of the Tin Man is walking. He's afraid to hit an ant. For I will not crush an ant is just too heart wrenching for him. Okay, which ultimately leads to the rescue of the queen. So, how can we create this grace? By focusing on that adventure or individuality, to not worry about the pitfalls as much, is to just keep our eye on what's in front of us, knowing that we will overcome any and all obstacles, okay? Any and all obstacles. And to really remember our virtue, to be authentic, to let our superpower come through, and to, more than anything, to do what it takes to use that voice, okay? And there's no shame in the Tin Man using his empathy and the tears coming and resting, but he had his oil can. And so he learned from being frozen. It was divinely timed that they came along and oiled him, okay? And he started his path again. But the time that he was frozen, he had nothing but to think back at how much he missed his love, and and that's why he wanted a heart. Okay, and so we've got this heart-shaped box. We're taking this heart out of the box, We're putting it in to the Tin Man is really what we're doing here. That's the story. Okay. And how are we doing that? Simply with our power, with our potential. We're starting a new point. We're starting a new challenge. We're not allowing what happened previously to create that. And so the Mahabharata, the ascended masters, if you will, they love to talk about alchemy. They love to talk about balance. And now we're going to talk about grace. How can we bring in that grace? Okay, how can we collaborate and integrate by using our imagination, by going within? Okay, and those mice that have just left, if you can go in and if you want to see the energy that these mice are doing is they've moved some obstacles out of the way. They've moved some obstacles out of the way. So how can you go within and allow them to do the same for you, knowing that it's already been done? Okay, knowing it's already been done. If we go within and allow ourselves to be one with the message of where we are, the mouse, the animal, the wisdom is closed, the portal is closed. So they're reporting the details of their duty. How can you go within and collect what they want to pay forward to you? How can you trust your intuition? How can you be one with unconditional love with how you receive what's enlightened for you, how what feels right to you, okay, what feels um I heard symbiotic, but more than that, what brings that balance, what makes you feel, okay, aligned in this effortlessness, right? And how can we bring that in and how can we hold that, okay? And what I'm loving here is how can we know that we're protected? And I'm not really highlighting the moon cycle, friends. Okay. I'm not highlighting the moon cycle. I am highlighting the wisdom. Okay. The wisdom that's coming in. So we have this imagination and then this wisdom that roots in, that manifests, that sweet nectar of the gods. Okay. And it's just like this renewal, this renewal coming in, the irritants turning into the pearl, the full process, the alchemy, that like why have all these things happened? What is it leading to? And it's like how can we see the imagination of home, right? What is home like for us and what does it smell like and what does it taste like and how does it feel? And how can we know that like the nectar is to know that you can taste the nectar of the gods by creating that is the nectar of the gods actually by allowing creation. Okay, so how do we create grace? We let creation come in. We allow ourselves to receive. We go within. How do I create grace? You know, we go within and we ask these questions and we trust our intuition and we trust the clarity that comes in for us. Okay, the structure that comes in to allow that shift, and then we study that energy, right? And we study that energy and we take that in and we create this new, I mean, this is, and we create without being afraid of our power. Okay, it's like this hands off approach. It's like, look at, you are filled with the power. Open your eyes, see what's around you, okay, and embrace your structure and your superpowers. Embrace who you are, okay, fortified by this nectar, fortified by this creativity, and really hone in that power and really find your way and go within and watch out. The shift is to watch out for the trickster, to create the alchemy, to know that the only trickster really is sometimes ourself. okay, is sometimes ourself and sometimes just the vibration of that heart, okay? The fears, because this challenge is really all about finding that harmony, that soul song, and going beyond that, okay? Going beyond that. And so, this trickster energy is just the alchemy to not to know and to hone in on who you are, right? To create that grace. And it's just something that you don't have to look to others to have. It's something that you acquire and you assimilate, yes, as you adapt. Okay. And what I was shown is this heart center growing. And then there's this twist of the mouse, right? Those metal mouses that get twisted, and it's like you're being moved in the direction that you want to go. You're being moved in the direction. And it's like you may not, and it's like in a lot of ways, spirit is coming into this movement and it's happening through this challenge so that you can develop your superpower. So that you can develop your superpower. And as we're in Munchkin Land, we're no longer playing it small, yo. We are free to ourselves. We are no longer the slaves. We have the ability to find this balance that Spirit is bringing in, to hone in on this superpower, which is, as Glenda said, within us. The gift, Dorothy, means the gift, God's gift. God's gift to us is that we can unlock this. Okay? And so the story of the Tin Man's coming in, the power of starting anew, the power of not being frozen, the power of divinely timing, sprouting, and stepping into our authenticity, right? So, how do we create this balance, right? What is this alchemy? We're going to go into our new, we've got Five of Swords, a shift to what happens to us, a shift in feeling locked in. But look at like this creation. Look at, I love this. It looks like the Tin Man with the swords. It's like these swords individually, they each went in, and it's like you can feel the pain, you can feel the wound. But look what happens because of the wound. You create something new out of what you thought was lost. Okay? So beautiful. Let's shuffle. And you move on to the Six of Swords. It's like you have that reflection, and look at that 5-6 alignment. Okay? Alignment to this beautiful, what are we creating? Yeah. How do we create this balance? Okay? So the first step of creating this adventure. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's by letting that new beginning start. It's literally talking about that brand new beginning. Okay? So we're putting it down here. I love this. All this energy coming in. We're talking about that brand new beginning. I mean, just look at this card. I love it. She's on her horse. We saw the horse with the man on it with the end in mind. And it's like, yeah, girl, just get on your horse. The night is coming. These wands, it's about this learning. There's this learning process. Take the steps. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. And she's holding, look at, she's holding that sword. Okay, I'm holding it backwards. Look at, in her hand, she's got that sword. Okay, she's got that new beginning. I love that. Thank you, Spirit. That's beautiful. Okay. And now we've got the Queen of Wands. It's like, whoa. We step into that. We embrace that. So there is that Knight of Wands. And then the Queen comes in and she receives. So it's, you see, it's a choice to step into this new beginning. And when you do, The queen steps forward. She receives something and brings it out, is what I'm getting here. And so, what this has to do is with the Two of Wands, a choice. A choice comes forward. It's kind of interesting it says choice because it's like all paths lead to the same destination. And that destination is that transformation, right? The renewal. The renewal. And how does this happen? By a change in your abundance, friends. A new structure of your pentacles. The new structure. So it's this new beginning and this new structure of how we have this abundance, right? And it comes, the devil, don't let it scare you. It's really kind of talking about, I'm not going to go into that because there's no need to. And the third part of this alchemy, the third part of creating this balance, okay, with this anime, is this 9 of Cups. It's like your cups are overflowing. Your cups are overflowing. You're building these 6 of your abundance is growing. Okay, it's generational wealth here is what I just heard. Interesting. And that's because of the structure, the 8 of Wands. It's like that imagination unlocks this magic within you to lead to what? to the Page of Pentacles. It feels like, am I reading her? Yeah. To the Page of Pentacles. So this is all about a new beginning, a change in how you make money, and finding that way. And for many of you, this is your challenge. This challenge 66, the mastery of grace and gratitude, evolutionary changes that allow you to release the sire in, to shave off all parts of who you are and to like restructure them as the Tin Man. And for many of you, it has happened time and time again. So this is what we're talking about. Okay, this is the structure of this box. The crystals, right? The earth magic, the ascended masters, and this anime, they've all come in to show us this beautiful beginning. Okay, this is the structure that we're starting with. And now we're going to go into the different mice. So here we are, 102.20 is what I saw. 102.20. And we're moving into the mice now because that's what's going to unleash that heart. Okay? So this is just the challenge. By we take a step on there, now it's going to affect us in different ways. Okay? So we're going to go into, you can have more than one mouse. And we're starting that at 102.45. Okay. Mouse number 1. All right. All right, welcome in mouse number 1. I hope you got to the collective message. I'm recording this live, so if you're with me, I'm trying to record it for those who come back to you, including yourself. The collective message is pretty deep, talking about what is this challenge that we're stepping into? What have we been aligning to? And, for me to bring this forward, it's always a little bit of a challenge because I've been receiving these messages for the last 3 months. For 90 days, I've been receiving tidbits. So mouse number 1, let's talk about you, okay? You are the big-eared hopping mouse. Now, I want to do a reminder that the portal of the mouse is closed, but these are the details. This is the report they're giving you moving forward, okay? So a few things that we want to know for all piles, first of all, is that the mouse originally came in the energy before the eclipse. And then we were in transit for much of a long time to align. And there's this alignment, and then very quickly the portal closed, okay, for the mouse. But this particular mouse is really coming up. Those of you who will resonate with this, first of all, these are all the messages I got. There's quite a few of them. See them? Okay, so let's just read them off. Okay, pile number 1. The big-eared hopping mouse. Now, first of all, I felt a lump in my throat. Okay. And this is before I even knew that this was connected. Okay. So a lot of these things were channeled back in February and March into April and then recently. Okay. So, first of all, when this all came through, this particular mouse, I was feeling a lump in the throat. And then I had the notion, what is the root of this lump? How can you release the wound? I heard the song Happy Trails to You until we meet again. So this song let me know that something is definitely leaving. Alchemy is at hand, okay? I picked up on that for sure. There's this, what I picked up on was this locust like energy. So, those of you that come into this pile, you almost feel like something's been like kind of feeding on you. Like you feel really tired. You feel like you can't stop moving. You feel, you know what I mean? It's like this locust energy, this frantic energy, and you want to move forward, but it kind of feels like you're stuck in this swarm sort of feeling. Okay. But you're feeling suspended. Okay. So this is just how this energy came through. But the mouse, this particular mouse, eats the bugs and has been assisting you in kind of like putting that swarm so we're not feeling it like we're lost in the middle of this locust swarm energy. Okay. um, and doing it one by one. And what's so cool about this mouse is when you're ready, and it hasn't happened yet, but this mouse can jump 6 feet. So it can make a lot happen and move forward. Now, this locust energy I was getting is related to Venus, too much heat. And Venus was in retrograde much of March and April. And so it was a little bit closer to the heat. So this energy was really gamping up and really in a lot of ways trying to create for some of you what you think is your new normal, and that's the trickster. It's not your new normal, because the locust comes in as the shadow. And the and in this particular picture, the shadow, you can see the shadow, and then if you really look at the picture closely, you can actually see the shadow of the heart. So, how can we take the shadow of the heart? How can we take the shadow of this locust energy, feeling lost in this swarm, not able to see? Like, think of all the emotions, think of all the senses that would happen if you were stuck amidst a swarm of locusts. Like, I want you to think about that. And that's what we're talking about here. The structure of renewal, though, is this happy trails, this energy leaving. Okay. So, in order for this to leave, I'm getting to share the sources on the root chakra, that Egyptian timeline. And there's this energy like the boogeyman, okay? Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, you're having a hard time sleeping. It's almost like these locusts eat away at your energies, okay? And in a lot of ways, this affects your manifestations. Like you keep trying, it's like sand. You keep trying to create something with form, and it keeps slipping through your fingertips, and that makes just really makes things very difficult. Okay. But for you guys, we have an element of divine timing in the air coming into balance with the earth, because the heat is what keeps the locust going. So we're almost like freezing things like the tin man, and this is the energy of the tin man. We're freezing things, okay? So it's like the Tin Man goes through all these things and becomes the Tin Man, and then, finds a new life for himself, and he becomes frozen in the rain. And as he's frozen there, he goes through this metamorphosis and really starts to go within. And this is the energy coming up for you, okay? So it's just like this element of air comes in, which needs to balance the earth, because the heat is what keeps the locust energy. How can you root earth, and how can you stay in your heart? So it's really talking about staying in balance, okay? Keeping that oil can available, so that as the emotions, as you go through the storms, we don't ultimately lose movement. Okay. So that is kind of the energy we're setting up here. We've got the Archangel AAA coming in, right? I'm hearing the AAA because we have the Archangel, Animal Oracle, and we have the Astro. So we're going to start with the Archangels. Whenever they come forward, they want to teach you something. Where are we starting? Oh, we're starting with this nourishment, okay? We're starting with this alignment that we're going through, this balance, okay? This is like the starting point because we're the new beginning, remember, is we've been unfrozen. So this is kind of the starting point. We've already come up to there. And how can we not let the past dictate what we're moving into? How can we learn some new tricks? How can we reverse the warrior? You are the builders of the new light. This is the structure of the heart center. So those of you who came in here, you are literally the builders of the new earth. And this is all about laying down that sword. And this is what nourishes you, okay, and feeds your family. So many of you, I'm talking about learning, could be a new career for you, a new project. This could feed your soul. It could be, poetry, painting, all kinds of forms of expression, or I'm getting coming in here. But let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to do 8 shuffles. We're going to take 2 cards, okay? So what does this abundance look like? What do the archangels want to bring in for you? Let's find out. That first card is like the shark. And it's so interesting because I was feeling before Haven, I was feeling kind of this surge, right? And it's like this magnetism. And that's what's so brilliant about the sharks. They don't see so great. Okay. So I want to remind you, those in this pile, you're not seeing so great. Okay. We've got that swarm. We've got the memory of the swarm. Okay. The visualization that we're in that swarm. And we can't see so great, but it's like there's this magnetism. There's this sixth sense that just leads you. And it's like, trust that. Okay. And that's by staying in that heart center. Follow your heart. Allow that magnetism to really show you the way, okay? How to reverse the warrior. I love this because it's like this number. I'm going to show you. It's like this number, this portal, okay? And it's like this reversal, but coming into balance. So this reversal of this archetype of the warrior, all right? And I love that as I'm saying that. So many stories about how the dolphins and the sharks, like the dolphins, they take out the sharks, right? But it's like, how can we trust our sixth sense? By just living in the present, by capturing our breath. The dolphin is all about the archetype of creating the patterns of the breath to feel as they're going in and out of the water, right? To really find that flow, that tempo is kind of what I'm hearing here. To live joyfully, to be in the moment, to like have that sound and that little dance going, okay? The bat here, okay? And these are this is what's coming in, like this number 8 talks about imagination, clearing that siren, clearing the waters, removing the toxins from the water, okay, all the different things. So the bat is like, follow our instincts, follow what's leading us, okay? Be ready to be on the move. See through illusion into truth, yes. See through illusion, and that's taking us back to the card here from the Mahabharata collectively, to trust our intuition, okay? And it's like this sonar, this sound. It's like, and that's part of like what stepping into this power is all about, right, guys? Okay, understanding this warrior. It's like we've made this new armor, and it's like we made it from loss. But as we remember and take those facets of loss and grief and we alchemize them and find new patterns, this is what we're talking about, using our imagination to do our part to illuminate the universe, to share with others the things that have been on our heart, to share our pathway, to allow others to know and it's like we're just not alone. To know we're not alone, to know we're not on that guinea pig. I'm just getting like we're not on that everlasting wheel that we're not going to go anywhere. It's like we are free. The cage is open, right? The cage is open. How can we start with the end in mind? How can we start with the king, the idea of the king? Balance for all, not the king at war, not the warrior that must get all the land and we must have the biggest kingdom. That's not what we're talking about. To be able to see a higher perspective and perception to capture exactly what we want. Okay? That abundance and the things that are fertile for us, be patient and be focused. To not feel pressured, to not feel it is my time. Okay? It's not about that. This is unconditional grace and gratitude, evolutionary changes that bring you one into this abundance to find new ways of solving problems. Okay? To know that it's not about the fight and and all the things that are created in there. That's not the way. We've learned from that. It's time to take those experiences, go within, harness, and, in a lot of ways, allow ourselves to receive and to reflect. Allow ourselves to receive and reflect. And to be unconditional and to learn what that means. And to pay that forward to others. And to pay that forward to others. To stay balanced in our essence. To stay balanced in our essence. In our essence. And how that allows us to connect with the next generation. That's what it's really all about. That's what it's really all about. That is what the kingdom is all about, the kingship. Okay? And there's that guinea pig again. All right? To know that we're free. That we're free and we don't have to fight that battle to spin on the wheel. Right? Okay, so this is what the archangels are coming in and they want us to learn about. It's kind of setting up, how to reverse the warrior. But what we're going to look at, what is this collaboration? What is this sacred structure that we're building? What is the sacred structure that we're building? It is taking and it's like paying it forward. Okay? You are the builders of the new earth. And it's like, look at, you're not alone. You run in packs. You learn and you pay it forward. Okay? You learn and you pay it forward. So beautiful. So let's look at the two cards on how we can reverse that. There's that prize pig. There's that big ears. Look at that. Big ears for the big-eared hopping mouse. We find that center. We find that essence. We find that shine, okay, by connecting with more than just us. We see the higher perspective. Many think that the look at that, we literally get into the pink, okay, and we rise above. And so as we're talking about this structure, okay, we're gonna put out my little notes, the heart shape, and the heart falls through, right? There's this expansion. There's this expansion, and as the heart collapses and becomes the bottom, it's like we can rise into that higher heart just on our essence alone. And we can develop new clairs. We can hear our intuition and we trust ourselves and our pattern in the universe. I mean, this is like Wilbur. We communicate in new ways. So beautiful. Okay. And the other way is the eagle. So here on the left and then the right. that we allow that eagle spirit to come in and to really guide us, to lead us over the rainbow, to fly us into Oz, to fly us into Oz so that we can be the prize pig of this challenge. Okay, I definitely am feeling that. And why? So that we can learn and pay it forward to others, to get the wisdom, the enlightenment, right? The royalty. The royalty is this purple color, is this color of royalty, of grace, right? Be independent but work together, right? To follow our passion, to follow our pack, whoever they may be. Some of you are leading the pack, some of you find the pack, some of you are still looking, right? But just know that you're not alone and that this enlightenment's here. And you're definitely teachers, builders of the new earth. You know, you are the ones who bring in the new earth, and we need to teach others. We need to expand that. Okay. And so this challenge is for you, this huge challenge for you. Okay. And what is this alchemy all about? Okay, we've got the Astro Oracle here. There's a lot of movement going on. Oh my gosh, we're starting at your midheaven. I love this. Okay, this healing at hand, this balance, this higher heart leading to this palace, really this midheaven. Look at this balance coming in and really feeling the balance, honing in on all, and it's like the flag. It's like things are great. Okay. Now, we did remove some of the cards. I was led to remove some of the cards in here, so we do not have the sun or the moon or any of the zodiac, okay? Any of the zodiac. And what we're talking about here, what is this alchemy for here for pile number one? What is this bigger? And what are we jumping forward to, right? What are we jumping forward to? Change. Now here's Uranus, okay? And I'm getting there's some magic here in Uranus. It is a part of this alignment right now. And this is those of you especially resonate getting 30 years. I'm getting 30 years, okay? Big, huge transformations. It's like this alchemy, and it is time. Yes, it has been long awaited. Long, long awaited. And this is an alignment to these energies. Okay. And Jupiter, your gifts are coming in, your individuality. It's like, you know, I love this. I love the grapes. I'm hearing kaonite. Grapes and kaonite go together. And what's really amazing about kaonite is like this is the nectar of the gods. Here we're back to the nectar of the gods. And the kaonite is kind of like selenite, doesn't need to be charged. It's more gentle. Like these pumpkins, we have all this abundance coming into you, and it's related on this change, okay? And this change in both of them, you see the gold. It's all about the structure, the structure. And how do we get to this structure? By collaborating with the energies that are coming in at this moment, especially just for you, okay? So let's go ahead and see. We're bringing this into our first house, okay? We're bringing in this evolutionary pattern into the earth. And it's like this is a stag energy, okay? So we've been through so much. It's like we're not losing these horns. Your connection is very tight. I'm getting really tight in both directions. Yes, in both directions. Okay. Look at all these. So we've had it could be coincidental, but we did have this planetary alignment of 6 planets, and so far I've shown you 3. So we've got Mars, you have Uranus, Jupiter, and now we have Mars, this fiery, and look at what's being identified, the 22, the sacred structure. This is something that you're doing. This is something you're creating, and it's motion. Look at, we're creating motion. We're putting that sword in, and we're no longer just fighting with the sword, okay? What we're doing is we're taking Mars, we're taking the energy, and we're taking the sacred structure. And what we're doing is we're reversing and we're learning from, just as I showed you, the 28, the 22, the sacred structure within this warrior archetype. Okay. And it's time, this is all happening for you. This is the first part. And then I love this. Okay. Here's another 4. Oh my God. I'll love if we get 3 4s. So 22 is, yes, a master number 22, but it is a 4. So we've got this masculine energy coming in, this fiery energy. We've got the next 4 coming in. Now, I love this because you guys don't know it yet, but the parrots have actually come in for animal wisdom. They are part of this. Look at the end in mind. The parrots we'll be talking about when we go into the kingdom of the Winkies, which happens after the Wicked Witch, which is the end in the mind when the Tin Man becomes the king. So I just love this. Oh my gosh. So this energy is so cool. And so you're going to want to make sure you come back and hear this, because this is this renewal. This is this alignment. Here's these chrysanthemums, right? It's like there's this partnership from all that has fallen, all that you have lost, crystallizing, like imagining like that petrified wood is coming to mind, in this partnership comes forward because of it. Okay, so we've got these 2 4s, and then here we go. Here it is, guys. A 49 numerology becomes a 13, 4 plus 9, and a 13 is the inverse of 31, and that's a number 4. So this is all about, this is your time. It is divinely timed for you. And look at, there's another 4. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that's not another 4. I was like, are you kidding me? That's a 3. So anyway, we got 4, 4, 4 here, coming in different ways in that 11th house, reaching out to that community, helping others turn. Yeah, you are the structure of the new earth. I told you that. And you're helping others to take their shadows and to cross them. I do believe you're tuners. You're taking frequency and you're helping others to switch these demons, these shadows into color, and that color creating, going from black and white into color. This is the whole synergy of the story of the Wizard of Oz and what we've been talking about here. Okay, this is your divine time. This is your timing. And it's like I'm looking at this hand and it feels like a bobber. This is very being part of this community. Okay, so it's like, here we go. We have this motion and this partnership, and then this community. And it is 4, 4, 4, divinely timed, right place, right time. Okay, for this. And this is because of this balance that you bring and that you manifest in this first house, this new beginning. Okay, so this is the structure of alchemy. This is how we reverse the warrior, the builders of the new earth. You're taking all that you've been through and you're flipping the script, right? And you're seeing the higher frequency, and you're paying that forward to others. I think it's beautiful. I think it's really beautiful. So we're going to move on to the next one, the next pile. So we're now moving into the kangaroo mouse, which is mouse number 2. Look at that, 12811. One with this a Tin Man leads to this new alignment of the lion. Okay, so we're talking about the lion now. Here is the archetype for pile number 2. And I've got quite a few messages for you. What we're talking about for you is how to collaborate with your heart to create magic. And magic is just something that you experience. And so that is the byproduct, that is the gift and the challenge for you. And the kangaroo mouse comes with this feeling of boxing itself. Okay, the kangaroo boxes itself. And there's a shift that's needed, and there's a message for you. When are you going to take your power back? When are you going to take your power back? So we're going to deal with that first of all. We've got some cards coming in for you guys. Again, if you're just getting here, you want to get into the collective message, okay? This is something that's actually assimilating, we're adapting. So we're just kind of touching base here in Munchkin Land is where we are. You've got the archetype of the lion in Munchkin Land coming up. We meet the lion, the last on our road, but we're in the book of Wizard of Oz. We're not in the movie, okay? And there's some really great things about the lion that you learn about in the book that are not in the movie. But we're going to actually, the divine is coming here and the archangels are coming here. So how can we basically, hold on a second. How can we collaborate and create this magic? The divine is coming in, first of all, to do all things in moderation, okay? To balance with the one, to really not go out of whack in many different ways. So this is our first tip. But what is the structure of balance, and how can we work with this to create the magic, to experience the magic by stop boxing ourselves. Okay? So it's like we're boxing ourselves, we're knocking ourselves out from this frequency, this diamond frequency is what I'm hearing. And in order to do that, we must understand the different facets of who we are. Okay? So I definitely feel that this is not the only pile for you, Lion. I definitely feel that there are other piles for you. Okay? So make sure you keep going there and keep all your commitments. Okay? Keep all your commitments. And even though, because you're boxing with yourself, and I was doing some of that tonight. I was so nervous. I was like, this is taking a while. The computer was having issues. I feel rusty. All these different things come to the surface. But the reality is like you can match the frequency. You can match the frequency. You can see the facets by remembering to do things in moderation, to really keep yourself centered and in balance, and also to keep your commitments, to not talk yourself out of doing things, okay? Out of doing things. Be of service. Be of service, okay? Especially if you feel like you're really going in too much and kind of like boxing, you're boxing with yourself, you're wrestling with something, get the focus off you and put it on others. How can you step into service? How can you volunteer? How can you see the world through the steps of others? This is a really huge thing for you to really snap you into that structure that's best for you. Okay, that's best for you to put this heart back in for you. To do what you love. That's the magic. To do what you love, what makes you feel free. Okay? Because when you feel free and you're able to do what you love and you don't have things holding you back, the magic is created from that. You just feel like you're in the pattern. You feel like you're in the pocket. Okay? And that's interesting because I was coming through, or some of you singers, I was getting the pocket of song. Interesting. So you're getting yourself in that pocket to go with the flow. To go with the flow. Okay? So those are some clues into how can we create this magic. All right? And let's look how we can do it. We align to this by facing your adversities. The lion says he's afraid. He has no courage. But over and over and over again, he steps to the plate. And the biggest way that the lion steps to the plate in the book, the original book, Wizard of Oz, I encourage you to read it. It's very inspiring, is they come to this gap. Okay? I love this because we talked about in the collective message the gap of where you want to be and where you're going. And what the lion does is the scarecrow says, "Lion, can you jump over?" And he's like, "I'm afraid, but I'll try. And he's successful. He jumps over this huge gap, taking the Tin Man first, or the Scarecrow first, because if he fell, he wouldn't feel it and he wouldn't get dinged up. And so he successfully takes the Scarecrow over and then continues to take the rest of them over. He faces those adversities and slowly he aligns to his own to his own superpowers, and to see that that courage is by facing those adversities, to not being afraid. The lion has this roar, and not being afraid of your own sound, okay, of your own sound. So let's look at 3 ways to create the structure for yourself, okay? And this structure for yourself allows this magic. So reevaluate your priorities. Reevaluate your priorities. Okay? Where do you feel like shifts need to happen? And how it's like it's in my mind's eye. I'm imagining this as a stopwatch. Okay. And it's like, how can you just take the challenge to face the obstacle, hit the watch, and find the solution to move past? Reevaluate your priorities, and it's like, then stop. It's interesting. It's like you'll see that once you eliminate a few things, you'll see how things can come into perspective for you. So reevaluate your priorities. All right. And this also feels like, you know, this actually feels like some shifts in connections. Okay. So maybe you've had some shifts in some relationships. And how does this help you reevaluate where you are and where you want to go? And how can we close the gap? How can we close the gap? How can we not allow painful relationships to hold us back from making new ones, from putting ourselves out there? How can we, reach beyond grief? How can we reach beyond trauma? Um, this is really amazing that the first step is to reevaluate, to reflect, and to look. But then to have a wake up call on how to break the patterns. A wake up call on how to break the patterns. Because it's like you're not doing that anymore. Okay? You don't need to be afraid, and you don't need to rely on your roar and your fight and your scare tactics. How can we relieve the patterns underneath that are making us feel that we have to come out, like the lion, with this roar, with this scare, and scare everybody? And that's like this tactic. Okay? It's like, no, wake up from that. Wake up from that. Claim your art. End this. Find your expression. I was feeling art. I was feeling song. Okay. I was definitely feeling song coming in for you guys. So it's like, claim your art, whatever that is, this form of expression, and it's raw for you, whatever it is. It could be music. I was getting that. For some of you, it's writing music, singing music. For some of you, it's sound. Okay. Synchronization. Is what I'm getting here. Synchronization. For some of you, it's literally art. For some of, art form. For some of you, it's poetry. But the wake up call is, how can we break the patterns, and how can we express ourselves to end this slavery, the slavery of this lion archetype of not having the courage to be who we truly are. The king of the lions, but coming out with this roar just to scare everybody when that's not even authentic. So this is that wake up call to claim this expression and to align to that expression to who you are, right? To align that. And as you use that expression, it will actually bring that balance in for you. And the archangels want to come forward, and they want to talk to you about how can you be at one? How can you even be at one with, collaborating with yourself, because you're boxing yourself. This is the kangaroo mouse. Okay? I'm getting that visual of that cartoon with the kangaroo with the boxing gloves on, right? And the kangaroo, anyway, knowing that you're held. Okay, so we're starting with the archangels are here to rush into your side. They're here to help you with your individuality, to find that authenticity. But can you allow yourself to be led? Can you allow yourself to be taught. Okay, one card. There's that number 13. How can you be taught? Through the structure of renewal. There's that poetry, that creation, that story. How can this story come in? How can the clues to help you to be at one with this balance? Okay, to really find and identify, there's almost this like sleuth part. And in this expression, you discover truly who you are. Okay, and that's what brings in this balance. So beautiful. 2 cards. We're going to read all about it. This is brought in by spirit, this illumination, this perspective, this ability to see from other points of view, okay? To be able to stand in the emotions and to not allow yourself to be lost in that frenzy, to not be afraid, okay? To face your wisdom. Yes, I'm getting that. To face your wisdom, to like look into your wisdom first. Holding that crown of alchemy, okay? Using that reflection. And the other, okay? The 7, allowing that warrior to surrender. Look at, this is an Indian warrior. How can he surrender? How can he allow himself to be guided to ride to a new destination? Look at all these birds coming in. Look at the tomahawks, to release those and to allow this energy of this new structure, the birds, the angels to come in, and look what's brown there. There's that wolf. There's that wolf. Okay. I love that that's coming in here. So we're going to read about all of these. Just what's beautiful in this oracle, and I was led to do this with this deck, or with this particular one, is where there are little clues here to guide you. Okay, so what we're talking about here for you, pile number 2, you're boxing yourself. How can you actually be in collaboration? By really finding out the way to express yourself, a way to express yourself that feels in balance. Okay, that's number 1. This is a structure of renewal for you. This changes everything for you. And this is based on your creativity. So here's your message. Overall, this is your message. Okay? You are a creator. Don't allow doubts to hold you back. You are gifted in inspiration and you can do it. All you have to do is start to begin your creation today. Okay? Begin your creation. Claim your art. Okay? Claim your art, because your art is your part. Your art is your part. And there's this self-discovery that comes here. So, but Spirit is bringing this in for you. This is actually this silver energy, the energy of that tin, the Tin Man processing now into the lion. It's like you've changed this perspective, okay? You find that heart, and now you're dealing with the courage to be who you truly are in all your essence without judgment and fear. And we have Maribel here, okay? Life is a mirror. What are your outer circumstances reflecting back to you? What can you learn from these experiences? How can you see different perspectives of the all? How does this reflection and how does this energy conduct into your structure so that you can release the warrior, step into your authentic self, and claim your art? This is your wake-up call, friends, to really discover who you are, to really discover who you are. So let's look into chamomile. I said chamomile, which, that's actually something really, really relaxing. I don't think I said that right, but, it all has purpose to help you sleep better, right? How have you acted out of lack of integrity? Are you taking full responsibility for your life? Reveal the true you, and you will see the loving nature of humankind. This is the energy of the lion, the archetype coming in. It's like stop boxing with yourself, allow yourself to be guided, allow yourself to see the bigger picture. Okay, it's like here he's trying to be the bird. No, allow the birds to lead you. Okay? And this is like silver is the conduction, is the the fastest conduction on the planet, actually. Everyone thinks it's copper, but it's actually silver. Okay, so this is the energy bringing forward for you on how you can collaborate with yourself so that you can step into this new level of expression. Okay? This new level of expression. I love it. Don't get too, like, I'm kind of feeling this choked up feeling. It's like, don't allow your emotions to get stuck here. It's like through this expression, you can actually be your most authentic self. So really allow yourself to feel guided with that. Okay? And make sure you checked into the collective message. We're going to move on to the third mouse, which is the flying mouse at 1:45:41. Okay. The message is for the flying mouse. You are also blinded. Okay, so of these mouse, 3 of them are blinded. And it's interesting that I'm telling you. So you might have been all 3, but the ones that are blinded are blinded by the light, actually. Blinded by the light. The kangaroo mouse, the flying mouse, and the golden mouse. So here we find ourselves, the flying mouse, blinded by the light. So not really knowing to see its way, but that's not the only sense we have. We're paying attention to the details. When I went into your energy, I had a feeling of sinking, then cleansed, then lifted up like a baptism. A chance of renewal if you forgive yourself for something previously done. You hold the powers of the universe in your hands. Ooh, that's a connection to another pile, actually, pile number 2. Okay, so you may have picked pile 2 and 3. And for you, we're going to actually share a story in just a moment. But we're talking about, for you in particular, there's a structure of renewal coming in for every pile. But the structure for you is about balance and integrating to create this clarity. Okay, and from this clarity, there's also this gift of magic. Okay, so it's just like this is the structure we're talking about for you. Now I got to share this with you. I had a story come in for you. Okay, here we go. I had the following come in for you. Many moons ago, there was a story told of a man made of tin. If only he had a heart, we would not be apart from the start. Then the man found copper. And I had the imagery of the fox and the hound, so the dog Copper come in. And he was happier than a Whopper. Made your way. Burger King, okay? So this energy of being loyal to yourself and creating this kingdom through this loyalty for yourself. And and what's interesting is the Tin Man, he had a lover, right? And it's like this is like that other perspective. They were supposed to get married, and he ended up in the rain in the forest, enchanted by his axe, and he never moved and married her. And so this is kind of like the Tin Man is the story is the story coming in, but this perspective, what I'm feeling is the perspective of the other person. Okay, so does that feel right? Yeah, that definitely feels right. Okay, so about being, it's like this is a relationship, and it's like the other perspective. It's like one half is working on itself, on the reflection on itself, and it's like you're both part of the same thing but different perspectives. Okay, so this could be actually you and it feels like a partner. It really does. And what's in, look at here, look at what we have. I didn't even put it together, but we have the Green Witch Oracle. Okay, the Green Witch Oracle, the Wicked Witch of the West. And we have this fast moving energy coming in for you. Okay, that's so funny. I'm sorry. I just love how it's connecting. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to the. It's actually kind of hard to keep track about everything, how much it's coming. Okay, the flying mouse. All right, so for you guys, we actually have. We're going to start with the Good Witch Oracle. We've got this idea of movement, getting out of the water, the emotions. So, isn't this interesting? Is what we're talking about here in the story of Wizard of Oz and how it leads to us is the Green Witch is actually taken out by the water, and here we're talking about getting out of the water, the emotions. Okay, so isn't that interesting? To not let the to not let the Green Witch within. It's I'm not even going to go there. Okay, it's coming as an archetype. We're starting here. This nourishment to the soil, this fertilizer, these bananas, this sweet stuff coming in, and it's like interesting. And reading of Monkey Mind, I see this Caduceus. Okay, and in the story Wizard of Oz, the witch, she owns what's called the gold cap, and the gold cap can make 3 wishes of the monkeys. So isn't that interesting? This is in the book, not what's in the movie. 2 different things. Okay, so we've got this movement. Okay, we want to create this structure of movement. I was getting like this 4x4 stuck in this mud pile, and it's like stuck and it's throwing out all this mud, but we want to get it out and get it moving. Okay, this is what we're doing. We're getting out of those emotions. This is what's coming in for you guys. How can we do that? By simply aligning and collaborating with that clarity, collaborating with that, this watermelon, this fertility. And look at it's like seeing the reflection of the seeds, seeing the reflection of the seeds. Yeah, so interesting how I mentioned that. But it's actually, look at here, the elixir. Okay, look at that. It's like this angelic, this sweet spot is this connection that you have, is what I'm hearing, this connection that you have. So how can we align to that connection so we get the movement going? Again, 11:11, how can we transition, right? How can we transition the cauliflower? I've never actually pulled this card before, but what's immediately coming to mind when I'm holding this is that it's like transition, and it's like things can be reformatted in ways that you never expected. Like whoever thought that cauliflower could be made into pizza? And that's what's coming up here. It's like that could be the base of your crust, this new foundation. Okay, and it's like this is an alignment. 11:11. Are you seeing 11:11? And this is an alignment between you and another. Okay, remember this is what it feels like. That's that relationship. And how can we have gratitude for this relationship? How can we allow this unfolding? How can we allow this rose, this release of these toxins, the things that are getting in between? And how can we let this relationship come into balance? Okay, this is what it's all that's coming through. It feels very vague, so let's get into it some more. What are we talking about here, Spirit? Okay, how can we get out of these emotions? By getting on our mission, taking the key and unlocking our success, knowing that Spirit has brought this in, seeing our growth, getting the fruit. Look at the peppermint. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, I love this energy. It's so refreshing. The fruits of your labors. Deep breath. This expansion is what I'm feeling. It does feel connected to um, the throat chakra. It does feel connected to an expansion, oracle, and that could just be storytelling. Um, Interesting. Lots of things, but using your voice, okay? Using your voice. And this is happening in your relationships. In all your relationships, this is your relationship with money, people, your mission with God, with the earth, with others. I mean, it's just there's so much encompassed here, okay? So let's go ahead and see this. What is this refreshing? What is this evolutionary change? And that's it's like this black cat, okay? And then they say that's a witch's best friend. So through this reflection, we see this cat, okay? I love that this is coming in, this companion for the witch, this affection, the sorrel. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Okay, and this is something that's manifesting. So you have this relationship. I'm hearing it's purring. Okay, so there's that movement of the purr, and this cat energy can go in between different dimensions. And so this is what's coming in. Interesting as it is, this is this is like an evolution for you. This is an evolved form of your relationship. We've worked really hard to bring this in. I'm almost like getting choked up. It's been really emotional um, for you. But at the same point in time, this is the sweet success. Okay, this is the sweet success that's coming in. There it is again. The bananas. Okay, the bananas. The healing, the caduceus, the sweet stuff. And what this does is this is the fertilizer. So it's like we've got this new affection, we've got this new relationship. Things are starting to purr. We're manifesting this. And then what that literally does is fertilizes the soil, and there's this growth between the both of you, for each of you, between the both of you. And it's like this is that medicine that the two of you needed, one and another. And it's like, look at it's like apples and oranges, right? What I'm trying to say is it's like this peppermint, okay? This actually is a better way to show it. It's like it's like it's different for both of you, okay? And it's like for you, there's this huge fruit, but it's like look at there's this separation and there's this fruit developing for another, okay? I feel it so strongly. I really, really do. And I love that. I love that energy. And that why is that coming through? Because you developed your individuality, because you had this abundance. It was the nectar of the gods, and you took it. You took this. You made this happen, and it's like this is for you. Okay, you developed this abundance, right? This is an ending of a cycle for you to align to this energy. Let's keep going. And it's like everything starts to grow. You're feeling stimulated. And it's like, in a lot of ways, okay, with this Aries energy here, is this Aries? I feel like it's Aries energy. It could be Capricorn. Anyway, you're one with this abundance with another. And it's like you're each growing, and this is what I'm feeling. It's like one of you is growing bigger, and the other one is like able to have a couple streams, okay? And this is the connection between the both of you, and what I see is all this growth, okay? So this is what you needed to be in line with this abundance, this partnership. This feels like this partnership, okay? Because what is the reference of the witch if there's no reference of Dorothy? Dorothy, God's gift, the green witch, sparkling water. And that takes me to that siren energy, the crystallization and the removal of those toxics that keep one afraid and off on a wild goose chase of what their own natural powers are, okay? And yours are related to, or like to your throat chakra. I definitely feel it. And so think of what the witch has been through. You know, it's scary to step into that. It's really scary to step into that. But it's like, you've got this. You've got this. So let's look at the structure. It's kind of interesting because I was getting this. Okay, so this is so crazy. I'm going to pull you down. I was getting to stack my cards a little differently here. Okay, and it's like this side is the side I'm getting for you, the feminine part of this. And it's like this is that Tin Man side, but together it creates this beautiful healing for both of you. Okay. So I have here this geranium come in. This geranium is all about keeping the bugs, keeping the energies, the irritants away. And so it's like one part of you, it's like you're moving to one another. And this is what I love. This is all about um, integrating the energies for yourself, like developing this manifesting this relationship, okay, outside of the shadow self. Because there's this shadow self, okay? We're talking about the Tin Man and his love, and you as the lover is like you abandoning me, okay? But we want to see that reflection. It's like, no, I didn't abandon you. I was enchanted. My axe was enchanted. And the healing here is that now that you know what I've been through and who I am authentically, we can nourish the soil and all can benefit from that. And then it's like down here, the next part of that, okay? There's this for you, it feels like there's this story of integration. We need to integrate these energies of this fertilizer, of this healing, to allow ourselves to see from that reflection of that relationship and allow that to turn into something stimulating for you, recreating this new beautiful pattern, putting a little spice in your life, feel things feeling light and fluffy. You're really rooting this energy in and it's multiplying, okay? And I love that. And then on the other side, it's like because of this, receive this healing, because you receive this healing and see that reflection of the shadow and allow this growth, it comes back to that other person and ends that cycle to actually keep those irritants at bay. Holy crap. This is really powerful, actually, pile number 3. I feel it so strongly. So let's look at this fast moving energy coming in. What is this medicine in this relationship? In this relationship, I'm hearing it's different for all of you, okay? For you, it's a relation with God. It's a relationship with another. It's a relationship to a project. It could be lots of different things, okay? So the medicine is how can we capture This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this. I am. I'm seeing the 12 and the 21. And how I'm seeing it in my mind's eye, I'm just going to write it down because I just like to show you what I'm getting here. The 12 and the 21. You're aligning to that structure for both of you. And what that does is it leads to alchemy. The alchemy of this relationship. Okay, it leads to something new. Wow. It allows transformation. Okay, so how can we see different perspective? How can we see the different perspective and, actually pay attention? It's like see the different vantage points before we go in. Okay, and this is what this collaboration here is talking about. Okay, we're moving into the energy here. We're talking about the medicine. How can we create this clarity? How can we create it? Okay, it's like First of all, how do we start is by keeping perspective, trying on different hats, trying our best to see the view of the other viewpoint. And that's very challenging to do when we're in the sauce ourselves, right? But it's freeing. It's freeing. The Palomino is the yellow horse. We're talking, here about the Wicked Witch, right? Is what's coming to the premise. The Wicked Witch is coming to the front. And it's like what's coming in from the story is the Wicked Witch. She has this relationship with the lion, and she just wants to kind of capture the lion. She wants to capture that courage. She wants you to hold on to that wound. And this is what we're fighting against. We're fighting against that wound manifesting and keeping the movement between this relationship. Okay? We want to find the balance here and the freedom. We don't want to live in the fear. We want to find the balance and the freedom so that we can capture this abundance, so we can, crack that nut and move beyond it and find bliss with one another. It's best for each and for both. Okay? Best for each and for both. So, listen to the messages, observe, watch, lay down the warrior, stop the fight, allow the healing. Collaboration is the biggest thing at hand. What does the hawk speak to you of? The hawk is one of the fastest moving birds known to man. And it's like if you allow this perception, if you allow this reflection, it will lead you into places you've never really thought of. And this is how you can fall through. You can look at the shadow and you can fall through. You can fall through the shadow, okay? And I'm being reminded of Syzygy, something that I did. And what would it mean if I was worthless? Okay, I'm feeling worthless. Well, what would it mean if I was worthless? It would mean I didn't matter. What would it mean if it didn't matter? It would mean, what's the point? What would it mean if I was feeling like, what's the point? Well, I might as well just, what's the point? Why even be here? And you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until you fall through, until there's nothing left, and you fall through. And it's like when you fall into that space and you fall through, and so I'm feeling that heart falls through, it falls into, right? That's what we're talking about here on this oracle. When this happens, it's like this huge reflection, and it actually, you can claim that gift and that challenge. It's like it's quantum. It's like it happens so quickly. Okay? It happens so quickly. All right, so let's keep going. How do we create this clarity? The clarity of the hawk, the healing. How do we create the clarity that the hawk has for this fast movement to like hone in right away? Okay, this is what I'm getting. Keep our ears open. Stay in balance. Okay? Rely on the sound of our bellow. Ask for what we want. Ask for what we want. Okay? How can we nourish ourselves? How can we close the vibrations and the frequencies here of the past? Okay? How can we allow that healing to not necessarily allow the choices of that other person to continue? I'm hearing it's a challenge because it's been some time, but how can we turn a new leaf? How can we turn a new leaf, release the sting, let go? Okay. How can we, and this spider here, I love this spider coming in here, the medicine of this spider especially, because this balance is really creating, aligning to this sacred structure. And to be sacred, it's between you and another, and it's not just about you, right? And it's not just about them. It's starting anew, and that's what this particular the medicine of this spider is. It's closing off the portal. It won't fall through. It's using its creativity and its shadow, the reflection of its shadow, to create a barrier so that it cannot fall through into what was. Beautiful. And how can we pull back? How can we allow the balance? How can we get centered, right? How can we pull back into that energy, allowing the healing that is needed, allowing the energies to integrate, right? It feels so important. It feels really peaceful to be in tune because the flying mouse can align and jump forward. Okay, I am feeling a connection to pile number 1, actually. And the intricate part of here, the medicine here for the frog, is to release the stripes, right? To release the badges of what you endured, right? Is kind of what I'm feeling here. To be pulled into the structure so that you can leap forward. And that happens by releasing the warhead, like the arguments, allowing the renewal, allowing the healing, coming out of the emotions and doing and jumping forward for what's best, not only for you, but for the other. Okay. So this is how we create that clarity by making our sound, focusing on balance and and what we receive and nourishing ourselves and taking our creativity to not create a boundary, to not fall back, and to listen to ourselves and to trust our intuition, and knowing that we are able to jump forward into this new, it feels like a whole new thing, but we have to end what was first. And it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, but there is a gift in that challenge. Beautiful. Thank you. Let's go to mouse number 4. Last one. Mouse number 4, make sure you check out the collective message. It's kind of long, but this is the challenge that we're aligning to as a collective for this year. And in every challenge, there is a gift. And what we're talking about here is the energy of not thinking small and to actually put our heart back into harmony, okay, into harmony. And we have the energy of the Tin Man coming up here. We're dealing with his story. He's the one that led the mouse in and really stepped into an expansion by working with the mouse queen in the book. Okay, so we have the angels coming up here. The angels want to talk to you about a structure of grace. Okay, a structure of grace. So you are protected. Okay, be your authentic self. Like, look at this is the cover model. It's like you have the ability, the golden mouse here. Okay, it's like you are the epitome of where you're meant to be. So the golden mouse, the messages for you, we're getting the archetype of the scarecrow. Okay, so we're in Munchkin Land, and Dorothy, aka God's gift, allows us to come up against these archetypes, and you are the archetype of the scarecrow. You are the only one who's not blinded, because in the book, we're talking about the book, not the movie. The scarecrow. Hey, Kendall. Oh, I love that. I didn't even know you were on here. Awesome. So, no. So we have this golden mouse. You are the only one of all 4 mice that is not blinded. And I love that because in the book, the scarecrow, he expresses how his face is painted on and his eyes are always wide open. Okay, always wide open. So we have some beautiful messages coming in for you guys. And these messages have been coming in for the last 90 days. So this is not a simple energy to traverse through. That's why this is part 1 of 3. Okay. And in Munchkin Land, we have the house falls on the Wicked Witch of the East, and all the Munchkins are freed from slavery. They were held by slavery day and night. And so the overall message for all the mice is to not think small, but to pay attention to the details and to learn from them. And you were the golden mouse. You were the only one I said that's not blinded. And the message came through, avec moi, with me, all things are possible. And that me is you. So with me, all things are possible. There's a nod here to the chicken oracle. You might want to check that out. It's already energy that gone by, but the cliff notes is there was an egg. There was an oracle there, and there was an egg that was being hatched in June, believe it or not. On June 2nd was the date that came through. And this is a nod to you that something has just cracked open. And even though the egg has cracked open, we need some time for nourishment. We need some time to fledge, to grow our wings, okay, and all the things. So there is a structure of authenticity being highlighted here and a structure of evolution. So when I went into the energy of the structure of evolution for you, I can actually feel it now. I felt this oscillation through the trident, okay, lovingly referring to the pineal, the third eye, and the pituitary gland. This oscillation in the trident, and it's connected to a matter of the heart. I got the number 369, and I heard, what makes you tick? Now, after I heard what makes you tick, it used to be the clock. There used to be a lot of pressure to get things done in a certain timeline. There used to be a lot of judgment, but you freed yourself from that paradigm, I'm hearing. But the structure of authenticity is coming in because we have the wrong song gong. There's a breakup. There's a breakup here to fix your song so that you can align. So there's this disharmony happening in your heart, okay? This is how this is coming through. This is how this is coming through for you. And we've got this wisdom coming in. I'm being reminded of this wisdom. And what's really interesting is for you, we have something coming in tandem, all right? So we have the structure of evolution in tandem with the structure of authenticity. And this is really challenging you in lots of different ways. But what we're doing is we're getting in tandem so that in a lot of ways, you can work together. So the angel prayers are here for you. We're going to start there. We've got some prayers for you, okay? And we're starting with knowing you are protected. You are protected. And I just feel, and I'm feeling it right now, like some of you are feeling the feels, okay? And you're feeling things and you're resonating with, you may actually, as you feel this oscillation too, it's like you can feel these things and you are protected because sometimes you're picking up on the feelings of others, okay? And so we're really going out of our way to let you know that you are protected. Just be your authentic self. Don't allow that to throw you into fear, okay? Into the fire, I'm hearing, like the scarecrow. He was fine throughout everything. He didn't think he had brains, but he was like the smartest of them all. And because he didn't allow himself to have fear, he had no fear. He had no brains to have fear except for the match. Except for the match, okay? So it's like, how can we avoid that? How can we get in tandem and realize the different facets of ourselves, and how can we get them working like the clock? What makes us tick? It's not about the time, friends. It's about the mechanics. Okay? So, angel prayers here to start. What is the structure of this grace? This is what makes you tick. Okay? This is part of the mechanics, is this grace. This ability to stay in balance. This ability to not allow the actions of others to take you out of control, okay, is basically the message I'm getting here. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a couple shuffles here. First of all, we're going to honor our feelings. We're going to honor our feelings. We're going to let them rise up. We don't need to react, though. We can be intentional. We're talking about how to create the structure of grace. This is very important for those of you here, because the scarecrow with the end in mind also becomes, in the end, with the end in mind, okay, which makes me feel like there's a connection to pile number 1 here, okay? But with the end in mind also becomes a king and also rules in this balance because now he has his brains, right? But anyway, let's just keep going. It's a new beginning. Yeah, it's a new beginning. And it's like we're feeling confident to walk through that next chapter. And that feels so awesome of what happens to Scarecrow in this Munchkin land before they reach Oz. He goes through so many things. There's so many obstacles. And as a Scarecrow who uses his ingenuity and just his power of suggestion and just sharing the insights that come. It's like he's not using his brain. It just comes. It's just an insight. And this is your special power. Yeah, your divine power, okay? Your inner power, your ability to create so much on so many different timelines. And as you see all these different triangles, the different facets of you, and bringing them into this beautiful balance so that you can follow the beat of your own drum. Yeah. This co-creation, stepping into this archetype of who you are, okay? And it's like honoring yourself and being your most authentic self, allowing those insights to come in and not overthinking them is really what I'm getting here. Okay? Hoppa. Unconditional love. Because one of the challenges that the Scarecrow has, of course, he's happy to have been created. He feels all parts. He sees all of it. Remember, he sees everything. He's not blinded. But at the same point in time, he was just left on a pole. And there's another part in the story, as they're still in Munchkin Land, where he's left in this river on this pole, once again, just stuck, ungrounded, okay? Feeling like he doesn't have his wits about him. And it's like, no, the grace is having this unconditional love for yourself and not highlighting so much on, what we think is our mental capacity, is our smarts, but more relying on the insights that come in and allowing ourselves to be guided there. And I just want to mention, you see this crown here, like in the paintings back in the day? Interesting that I'm saying paintings. Okay, this could be for those of you that were connected in, what pile was it? Pile number 2. Okay. It's just like this well of dreams. This is that well of dreams, this sparkling, this unconditional love. This is like what leads to this beautiful power within you, to be honest. That is your magic power. And that is the magic power of the Scarecrow. It's like it's just natural. Okay? All right. So let's look at 6 cards for you. We are talking about putting the heart, letting the heart fall through. So how can you open your heart? Okay, how can you open your heart? How can you root this in? Okay, your body is communicating with you. All right, that's what I'm getting here. Your body is communicating. We talked about the isolation. You're starting to pick up and being able, because of your heart, connect with others, and you can, in some ways, feel their discomforts, and it can be alarming. So when this happens, just release, call to release all energies that don't belong to you and pull your energy back to self, okay, to get perspective, to reground in. Grounding is really important for you, okay? So you got to have some sort of spiritual report, spiritual routine. How can we get centered? How can we get grounded? How can you get balanced? What is your routine? I put myself in my pillar of light every morning. You are protected, you are supported, but this is about kind of like using your words, okay, to really make that happen so that you can have what's yours and not what belongs to everybody else. It can be hard to discern. Continue to follow the spirit animal wisdom. We've got the wisdom of the mouse, but we are soon moving into two other wisdoms, okay, coming forward as we move into Oz and into the land of the Winkies. So, how can you allow this to help you root in? How can you allow the animal wisdom, in particular the mouse here? How can you pay attention to the details? Okay, the details and what I shared for you, the details in your oracle. You are very connected. You pick up on lots of things for sure. Okay, but how can you love yourself? There's that integration that we're talking about. How can we stay heart centered? How can we have the wisdom from what comes in? Okay, because it all is that frequency. It's all changes how we channel, what we receive, what comes through. Because there's lots that wants to connect with you. Actually, lots of things that want to come in to help you with your wisdom, to help you pay it forward, right? And the music wants to connect. Did we get any music for you? Not particularly. Okay. Not, but we had the wrong song gong. So how can we collaborate with the music? How can we find our this is the structure that we're, how can you find your song of your heart, okay, your harmony? What does that sound like? Lock in on that, hone in on that, and hold on to that. Hold on to that harmony, hold on to that soul song, okay, that makes you feel like you're home, that makes you feel like you're home. And that's when the miracles will start enveloping, and that's when you will start learning and expanding even more. Learning from that muck, right? From those experiences. Reconnect through nature and fresh air, yes. So it's like connection is really important here for you. Connection with self, connection with the earth, connection to music, connection to spirit, to your guides, to your wisdom. Okay. So this is what's coming in with you. So break up with the things that don't allow your song, your soul to sing. Okay. And get the tandem so that you can have the facets of really all the lower chakras working together so that that heart vibration becomes that new root. This is where we started out with, but this is your perspective. And it's all about, so for some of you, it's like you think this is all in your head, okay? But I'm showing it's not. You're feeling it in your body, okay? So just stay heart centered and know that there's this new manifestation, but there's something to be learned here. And it's all about finding your peace, okay? It's all about finding your peace because just like the scarecrow hanging up on that, he was lonely. He felt he was left alone on that perch, created to see everything and then just left alone until Dorothy came along and helped him down. Okay? Dorothy, God's gift, allowed him to come down. Okay? So this is where we're starting. When you stop fearing your loneliness, when you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude. And that's when kindred spirits can finally come. That's when we can make these connections to your guides, to the animals, to the ancestors, to music, to nature. It's unlimited for you, my friends. It's unlimited for you. All right. So, how can we create this unconditional love structure for you? Because this is what's coming in. This is a 10-10 moment. This is putting you on your mission. This is mastery for you. Okay. And it's a cycle, it's an ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. Okay. So, we're ending to find the grace so that we get out of the emotions, so that we're not afraid of the fire, right? Not afraid of the fire. Okay. I feel like there's connection to pile number one again, but also the new beginning of unconditional love for self. So that's what we're going to talk about here in the offering. Leaving this loneliness, having unconditional love for self. By allowing that clarity to come in. That is literally so awesome that this clarity comes in. And it's like it allows you to kind of relax and open up, okay? I feel a lot of fear-based energy, but look at, you've been striving, but that's falling off. And new ambitions coming, this Mandela, this balance, okay, coming in. Sanctuary. Okay, feeling part of something bigger. Okay, it all starts with that loneliness, but it's like as you embark on this journey and meet the different facets of who you are, and potentially through other people, we create this change. We create this change, the structure of evolution, feeling more connected, fluttering through the plants. Wow, so beautiful. Knowing that you are enough. Knowing that you are enough. And leaving that loneliness behind, right? Because that is just, if I only had a brain, it's like for some of us, if we only had a brain, it's like the brain gets in the way. And many times we're taught ego. This is not about that. This is about knowing that you are here for purpose. You've seen it. You've had your eye on it. You've not been blinded at all. But you were, in a way, stuck, unable to walk your path. But that's changed. Because we've turned loneliness upside down. This is the final one. We started here, and while we're here, we're reversing that. We're coming out of that. Okay, and on that card are all those beautiful, what's coming to mind right away is the blue poppy, which grows in the mountains, so rare and so beautiful. And it's just like, that's what I was getting, this loneliness. You're not even aware of how beautiful and how rare you are. So what's this all about here for you? Okay, this is about self-sufficiency. So here we were feeling alone, but the ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. It doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source and I'm willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. There's growth happening around you. This is the structure that's happening around you, the structure of unconditional love, okay? So let's go ahead and take your look at your 4 cards. It affects your work ethic, okay? in this work what this brings you into, just like the scarecrow ended up ruling Oz, this brings you into something that's really aligned to how much you love yourself. It feels very vibrant. I feel a change there. I'm now available to receive all who can benefit from my work. You're off that pole. You're on your path. Use me to relieve suffering on the planet. May all who find me, may all who need me find me. The divine is a complete source for all prosperity and will provide. Wow. This is like a huge opening for you. And this happens a lot with your connection with your team. And this clarity is coming in for you when you love and accept yourself and you integrate these energies, right? And you integrate the structure of authenticity and the structure of evolution. When they become in tandem for you, this clarity comes in. Let me trust my deepest instincts in all ways, especially when matters are unclear. May my own holy intuition always guide the way. And just like the scarecrow, you just trust the insights. I cannot tell you how many insightful, amazing solutions the scarecrow came through in the story over and over and over and over again. It had nothing to do with brains. It had to be trusting the insight, just trusting the lightning moments of the things that come in, having the unconditional love for yourself and for the universe. The clarity is knowing that is clarity, enhancing your clairs, your connection. How? By having that unconditional love for yourself and knowing that this is wisdom for you. I mean, I feel it so strongly. I really do. I feel it so strongly. Especially what you're receiving. I do feel that you are a divine teacher to teach others how to connect with their intuition. It's so easy for you, actually. You don't think it's just like, it's so easy for you, you don't even know it's a gift. Okay. This card is coming again. There's a change. This is falling here, connecting with your music. That soul song, there's a change coming in. That evolution, stepping into your authenticity, fluttering through the garden. Remember, we already saw this. Don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps. You don't need to do that. Spirit will bring it in, step at a time. All you need to do is that one next action. You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. And what's being highlighted here are these marigolds, okay? Which is a really powerful energy. And also a connection to the ancestors. So I do feel that with you, this connection of this song. I'm feeling Atlantean vibes there, to be honest. And it's just like through your expression and through your, look at this, your evolution. That's what I said, this change into your evolution, okay? And it's like you teach others to do the same. It's this really beautiful balance. Will there be challenges? Yeah. But you have the insights to get through them all, just like the scarecrow. There's nothing that can hold you back. Unbearable situations throw at you directly into God's arms if you are open. Please take over, divine, and guide the right actions. Please take the burden and show me your will. Yeah, there'll be challenges, but you're not stuck on the pole anymore. You're moving. You're crossing mountains, moving over gaps. You jump with the lion over the gaps. You climb the mountain to Oz. I mean, you are amazing. Okay, you are amazing. And how do you know that? By honing in on the beauty of who you are. And you have this deep connection with nature. I do feel it. And if you allow yourself to that loneliness that we were picking up on is an illusion, because you connect with everything. You connect with everything. And so this idea, this concept of loneliness, this idea that I need brains to be able to connect, to have value, this is so devaluing for you, because you actually can connect with everything. Okay. It's like pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Self sufficiency. You'll get anywhere that you want to go. I mean, this has been a beautiful oracle. I was really nervous. Thank you for all who came on. I hope you enjoyed this. This is the first installment of 3. So I will be back with the next one soon. Got a little rusty, but hopefully the messages came through. Drop in the comments what resonates with you, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.